And as soon as I saw him pop out, I was like, get the back in that room. Don't come out here. Shh, get back there. And I ran in that room and I was like, don't let anybody see you. Don't say anything. And he was like, but I fixed it. I got it. I was like, no, this new stuff's way better. Don't let anybody know that they don't have to do
No.
this.
Hey, I'm Nick,
And I'm John.
and we are the co-founders of AVVAY, and we're building the first nationwide location scouting company. We've been fortunate enough to work with some incredible producers every single day, both on our AVVAY team and as clients. And they are truly amazing, unsung heroes working behind the scenes to make miracles happen every day on shoots. And this podcast is all about highlighting them and just uncovering their stories and telling their adventures. So we're excited for you to join us, and let's get started. Today we're talking to Denis Deck, the founder and executive producer at Sequitur Cinema. Just like us, he played in bands for years before attending film school, getting into filmmaking, and then eventually starting Sequitur, which works with brands like Amazon, Chevy, Bose, Honda, and more. Plus, they make incredible feature films. We are huge fans of Denis, and we're super excited for you to get to know him. If you want to learn more about Denis and Sequitur, you can find them at sequitur.tv on the internet.
All right, Denis, what started it for you? What was the first thing in production that kind of lit your fire and got you going?
I guess going back, I was in architecture school and I was realizing that I sucked at architecture and I was sucking at being a student. So I was spending all my time playing music and dreaming of writing screenplays, and I literally flipped a coin and it landed on music. So I did that for like 8 years and it was really awesome. And then did everything more than what I had dreamed I was going to be able to do with it, but it kind of run its course. And in 2008, I moved to New York and I thought that I was going to try and I ended up with an advertising degree and I thought I was going to try and use my ad degree in New York. But it was 2008 and everybody there was like, hire you. We just fired half of the people here. So like, get out of here, kid. So I found myself in New York not knowing what to do and couldn't find a job. So I thought, you know what? I'll just go back to school. So I did the other side of the coin. I went back to grad school and did film. And so that was really the start of my career in this industry was kind of accidentally being forced into doing it.
Can you tell us about why and how you started Sequitur?
The reason why I started Sequitur was it kind of came from this way that I approached music, which was I never really wanted to be a solo artist. I always wanted to be in a group. I always wanted to be in a band. I always wanted to surround myself with other really talented, creative people and us like feed off of each other and build something together. And so that's what really drew me to the filmmaking process is, and really being a producer and starting this company was just about like connecting people, building teams, and being inspired by all of the other really creative, amazing people around me.
Yeah, I think, John and I can definitely relate as far as not really being solo artists. Like, and we joke a lot, like, we being, doing songwriting and other things in our past, like I think we crave that collaboration. So Denis, I gotta ask, what's your best story of the worst train wreck you've ever experienced during a project?
I think that, a lot of the thing about being a producer is you're always in this state of like panicked lunacy, thinking of all of the train wrecks that could possibly happen and doing everything in your power to make sure that none of them actually do. So my first ever short film that we did when I was in New York. Um, I don't really know how to best tell this story. This story is about this. I have it sitting in our conference room. It's a framed memory card from a camera. And so, first short film that I ever did, and it was actually part of the reason why I was forced into starting Sequitur, because we were working with, I'd gathered all these friends in New York and we were trying to make shit, and we didn't have insurance. And and we needed to rent gear. And in order to rent gear, we needed to have insurance. And in order to have insurance, I needed to have an LLC. So that was kind of the start of Sequitur. That was with this director, Rachel Lambert, that we still work with all the time today. We were making our first short film with Rachel, and there was this really, really intense scene that we had to shoot at the end of the day between these two actors. And the whole short film was all going to, it was all going to be anchored by this really emotional scene that these actors had to do. And they really had to go to this like deep, dark, hard place to do it. And we got that scene. It was like maybe it was like the second to last stuff that we had to get for the shoot. So they did the scene. Everybody was really excited. Cards came out of the camera, went over to the guy who was like doing our data management. And then they were shooting like the last scenes. And the guy that was doing the data management like called me into the little bedroom that he was working out of. And he was like, Dennis, the card failed for that whole scene that we just did. We don't have any of it. The card failed. And so we kind of like rallied though. And we were like, no, we learned lessons. Let's dig back in. Let's find new stuff. Let's go back and do it again. And so everybody had to get all pumped up and go back into doing it again. And as they were doing this scene, I saw the door, like kind of toward the back of this place that we were in. I saw the door to that bedroom where the data manager guy was. He like opened the door and he popped out and he had his arms up and he was about to be like, I fixed the card. And as soon as I saw him pop out, I was like, get the back in that room. Don't come out here. Shh, get back there. And I ran in that room and I was like, don't let anybody see you. Don't say anything. And he was like, but I fixed it. I got it. I was like, no, this new stuff's way better. Don't let anybody know that they don't have to do this. So then they did the scene. And then after they got through this whole scene, they were like, everybody was so thrilled with what they got and they were so happy. But we did get that other card and we saved it. But it was just kind of this lesson of like, even when you think that you don't have any more and you can't go back and you can't do it again, you can't go back to the place you gave it your all, then you can dig deeper and find something else better and special. Film production is just a series of minor train wrecks and minor fires that feel like nuclear explosions when they happen. So there's just an instance of one that I remember that has stuck with me.
What inspires you?
Finding creative new ways to continue to tell stories and be relevant doing this is really inspiring. I love the challenge of it, but it really just gets back to the people and their stories, and that's what it's always about.
As a follow-on question to that, Dennis, do you think about both commercial and features as stories that need to be told?
I work sometimes with this director named Teresa Winger, and she taught me something years ago. Not directly, but I noticed that she always called all of our commercial projects films. She would never refer to them as commercials. She always said, for this film, I want to do this. And I really loved that so much. And I've been trying to keep that mindset about commercial work too, is we're always making films.
Is there a piece of advice that just has stuck with you through the years that has really shaped your work?
What I think about a lot is something from my time in film school. I went to the screening at the Lincoln Center, and it was with this recent NYU grad. His name was Ulrich Braun, and he was screening his first feature that he did. And he learned along the way that if you're going to do this, you better do it because you love the process. If you are in this because you really need to get that recognition, you really need to get those accolades, you really need, like an audience that's going to make this all worthwhile to you, then it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because you really need to enjoy this process. It takes so much. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of hard work to be able to make films, to be a storyteller, and it's such a privilege.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Producer Stories. We salute all of the hardworking producers out there, and if you need locations for your next shoot anywhere in the US, we can help at AVVAY.com. That's AVVAY.com. We'll see you next time.